tennis coach hopes to smash the total wipeout obstacle course at 5:30. Right now on BBC One, Gabby Logan's here with the final score.
He was one of the heroes of the afternoon.
Applause from the away supporters. The latest score is Wimbledon go through to the first half.
John Terry's tears, we all know. It was too fruitful week.
Hello, welcome to Final Score on a busy afternoon of action. If you've been on the red button with us, you'll know that. If you haven't, what have you been doing? Garth, Crooks and Hamann are here to keep you enlightened and amused and give us all their verdict on the afternoon's fun and games. It's been a busy one, chaps, hasn't it?
Oh.
OK, well, this is what's happening in the Barclays Premier League so far today, incidentally. Wigan 2, Everton 1 at half-time. A potential shock on the cards at the DW. Wigan leading second-placed Everton thanks to goals from Aruna Kone and De Santo. And to Stamford Bridge, where the Royals may be heading towards their first league win of the season thanks to strikes from Pograbniak and Noel Hunt. And the early match today was at the Motherwell in the SPL at Fir Park this afternoon, up against Dundee United. Their game called off thanks to a power cut outside of the ground, we understand, but that game no longer on. Let's talk, though, about the Premier League. What a fascinating 45 minutes that first half was. For 4 games, it just felt incredibly busy with action, incidents. What caught your eye the most? What would you like to talk about first?
Goals everywhere. Chelsea, obviously, top of the table. Had a bit of a shock to start with. Norwich started well. Since then, Chelsea have been all over them. Chris Hughton's got to really wind his players up and see if they can get something out of this particular fixture.
And Mark Hughes, did he? We talked about the pressure that he's going to be under. You played under him at Man City. And then to go 2-0 down as quickly as they did and look to be all over the place, it was looking pretty woeful, wasn't it?
They did, and they've been given a lifeline with a individual piece of skill from Tarap, who's got a fantastic goal. They've been given a lifeline they probably didn't deserve because in the first half hour they have been awful. They've got a chance now. If they pull another one back, I think they can go on to win the game.
I should just say as well that Ashley Cole, after yesterday's tweeting fiasco, did start today, Garth. And
I've been watching him like a hawk, Gabby, and I've got to tell you, it's not affecting one iota in this game. Probably the best place for Ashley Cole to be right now is on Stamford Bridge's pitch.
OK. Let's check in, first of all, with Andrew James at the Hawthorns.
Yes, still, it's West Brom 2, QPR 1, Gabby. That's the situation. A minute played in the second half. Both teams have made substitutions at half-time. West Brom sending on Reyes for Tamas, who got a first-half yellow card, and Traore's on for Clint Hill, who got a nasty head injury in the first half. No surprise that he hasn't come out. But West Brom on course for their best-ever start to a top-flight campaign for almost 100 years if they win today. And, of course, QPR still looking for their first away win under Mark Hughes. It's West Brom 2, QPR 1.
And let's go to Stamford Bridge. A busy first half goals-wise, Tony Husband. Norwich's performance seemed to go downhill as the half went on as well, and some woeful defending.
Yes, indeed, and Chris Hughton really will have had to have a few words with them at half-time. 3-1 down going into this second period after taking a somewhat surprise lead through Grant Holt, but they were well played out of it by the interval. Nevertheless, Holt has had the best chance of the second half so far. He's just shaved a header wide from Bradley Johnson's cross 2 minutes into the period. But so far, it's Chelsea trending here at home. They're leading 3-1.
Let's go to the DW, and this one going against what many would have thought that the run of form, certainly against the run of form, Damien Johnson, but you should never write off Wigan, should you?
Yeah, typical Wigan, isn't it? Never underestimate them or write them off. They lead 2-1 here. They took the lead, actually, through Aruna Kone, a lovely header, got into get a lovely run down the left-hand side from Sean Maloney, set the ball on a plate for him. Everton equalised, Jelavic with a far post header, and then they retook the lead, Wigan. De Santo, his third goal of the season, into the roof of the net. There was controversy in that first half as Everton attacked. It's cleared. Controversy because Marouane Fellaini, who's a man who divides opinion, I think it has to be said. He's had his run-ins with officialdom in the past. He was given only a yellow card for a flailing arm that caught Maynor Figueroa. The locals baying for a red card, but the referee, Kevin Friend, only dispatched a yellow. It's 2-1 Wigan.
Thanks, Damien. I think there's more to come from that one. Is there more to come from the Liberty? Can Swansea get back into it? Only Jason Mohammed can tell us.
Well, 10 seconds ago, Gabby, a great chance for Luke Moore, who's just come on at half-time for Danny Graham. Michael Laudrup making one change. Luke Moore clean through, clipped it past Alex McCarthy. He somehow got a hand to it. It's still Reading leading by 2-0 here, thanks to Pavel Pogrebniak's shot. Largely thanks to a goalkeeping howler by Michel Vorm and Noel Hunt's terrific volley, which went past Vorm like a rocket. Swansea City missing 3 good chances before Reading took the lead. It's Swansea City 0, Reading 2.
You're on Morelos' watch, amongst other things, today. He was very impressive last week in the win against Southampton. Has he been as impressive today? Can he turn this round for Everton?
Yeah, definitely. If anybody is, he can. I mean, he got Leighton Baines in the first half, then Baines clipped the post, threaded him through lovely. And Fellaini, who's not been outstanding today by any means. He got booked for throwing an arm and caught the player on the head, and he needed treatment. But Morelos really handles the ball really well. Really skillful player, and is one of those players. If he sees an opening, will find it and play it early. Really skillful player. Part of the Belgian Legion, suddenly they're there. I mean, come the World Cup, they've got a great chance.
Well, yeah, moving on. Belgium, forceful. Sadly, no Belgians making the grade for Mark Hughes today. Needs a bit of that skill and just that kind of opening up of the opposition that Morelos is able to do. What do you see? Where could he make an immediate change? What do they need the most?
He could do with a few Belgians. The first changes mainly brought Clint Hill, who had a torrid time in the first half against Shane Long at times. Traore is on, who's got more pace than Clint Hill. He's got Maki and Cisse on the bench, who are proven goal scorers. So, if they keep it at 2-1, I think he'd be quite happy to take it into the last 20-25 minutes, then maybe give it another push with 1 or 2 fresh players to get an equaliser.
OK, let's talk a little bit about the early game and get some reaction there from the Etihad. It finished Manchester City 3, Sunderland 0. And Michael Richards' first appearance this season, the first clean sheet as well for Man City. Let's hear what he had to say.
Michael, well done. You must have missed being a part of that. Quite a performance today from everyone.
Yeah, I think we played well as a team today. After our draw midweek in Champions League, a couple of boys are a bit down, but to get a performance and a result like that today, it's give the boys a bit more confidence, and they can go away in the national break with confidence now. So a good team performance all round.
Were you surprised to be involved? I mean, I gather you've only been training for sort of 4 days or something.
Yeah, I was surprised, but I think Vinny Company and Nastic picked up knocks in the Champions League, so the gaffer pulled me this morning and said, are you ready to play? And I was only going to say yeah, and I'm just happy to be back, and happy we got a clean sheet.
You nearly capped it with a goal, or you nearly capped it with 3, actually.
Yeah, I need to work on the shooting. To be fair, though, 2 of them was cleared off the line, so... but yeah, it's just nice to be back and amongst the lads. Disappointed when you're watching from the stand, when you're injured, but it's just good to be back amongst it now.
And if that overhead had gone in, we could have packed and wrapped goal of the season right now.
I'm trying to copy Rooney's one, but it's not working just yet.
A very happy, relaxed Michael Richards. Let's go to Bloomfield Road. Seth Bennett has goal news.
3 minutes into the second half, and it's the visitors who take the lead. Leon Court with a header into the floor. It ballooned into the air and into the top corner. And so Charlton lead against the run of play, and Blackpool are going to have to come from behind again.
Hibs 2-0 up on Dundee. That would take them top of the SPL. Of course, don't forget Motherwell's game against Dundee United was called off because of a power cut earlier today. Let's talk a little bit about Man City. Michael Richards, you said there. I mean, you must know him from when you were there, and he must have been a very young man then. And you said he's a man now.
He was a boy. He was a boy when I played with him. That shows how old I am. Now he's become a man now. The way he talks, very mature, and he's got tremendous talent. You want to see him leap. I've never seen anyone jump as high as he does from a standing point. And he's quick. He's athletic. I think his football has improved, and what a boost for City to have him back.
Well, yeah, is there any coincidence it was their first clean sheet?
Well, I don't think it's coincidence, yeah.
I thought he was. I remember entering him as a 17-year-old, a prodigious talent, and him making that big blooper live on television. You're right, he's grown up terrifically.
Well, you can see there Chris Eagles has got the equaliser for Bolton at the Den. Nick Godwin can tell us all about it.
Yes, from 20 yards, a blistering free kick that went through the wall. The Millwall defence won't be very happy about that. So Bolton do have their equaliser, and only 60 seconds before, the Bolton keeper Adam Bogdan had to claw away a Chris Wood header at the far post that would have made it 2-0 to Millwall. They wasted so many chances, Millwall, during the course of this game, and now with 5 minutes gone in the second half, Bolton are on terms. It's Millwall 1, Bolton 1.
Let's go to the King Power Stadium. As things stand, Leicester will be top of the Championship tonight. Ivan Gaskell.
Yeah, we're about 8 or 9 minutes into this second half. You know, before this kicked off, you might have described Bristol City as Leicester's bogey team. They did the double over them last season, and they've only lost one in the last 7 Championship games against Leicester. But it's certainly not going that way today. It's been one-way traffic. Our referee is Mr. Kettle, and something is certainly brewing at Leicester. They're 1-0 up.
Sorry, that's all I can do, apologise. Let's go to Pride Park. Peter Slater, bring us up to speed there.
9 minutes played, second half, still not a goal, but it's a lot more open second half. Brighton, who I felt shaded the first 45 minutes, closest to a goal. 4 minutes into this second period, Leon Bridcut with a shot from just outside the penalty area. It deflected off a Derby defender, bounced over the goalkeeper, bounced onto the crossbar, and Derby relieved to see the ball cleared. 9 minutes played, second half, Derby 0, Brighton 0.
Blackburn Rovers' first home game since Steve Keane resigned. How's it going at Ewood Park? James Mason.
Goalless first half. Nothing has changed in this second half. We've only played a couple of minutes. A change in personnel. Eric Black, the Blackburn caretaker manager, the first to show his hand, making the first switch. Fabio Nunes on for Mauro Formica, and already the young winger has twice crossed in from the left, and he looks a very, very interesting player. So it's 0-0 Gabby so far in the second half.
Great save, Jason Hamann at the Liberty Stadium. It looked like Swansea might be getting back into this.
I tell you, I know that the Man of the Match award is not usually given at this time of the day, but it'll take some effort from any other player to stop Alex McCarthy in the Reading goal getting the Man in the Match award. He's made 2 great saves from Wayne Routledge and Danny Graham. Luke Moore, who's on now for Graham, has just had a header tipped onto the post by Alex McCarthy. I've just watched the replay. The ball did not go over the line. Swansea City 0, Reading 2.
Let's get the goal news from London Road. Steve May.
Yes, it's Peterborough United 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Tremendous start to this second half, all round, I should say, with Andy Reid scoring for Nottingham Forest just a few minutes into the second half. A terrific run down the left-hand side, and then he unleashed a big shot from a big angle, which flew into the far corner. It's Peterborough 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
Did you see that McCarthy save?
I did. I thought it was a decent save. He thought, your man here thought he should have held it. High standards. When did you play in goal anyway?
No.
I thought it was a decent save.
Swansea getting back into it?
Well, they're trying desperately, but they're not having much luck. Yeah. I mean, if that goal goes in, if it creeps in the inside post, then you know they've got a chance. But at the moment, they're struggling, to be honest with you.
Luke Moore had a big impact. He's doing well. Luke Moore made a difference in the second half. It's all Swansea at the moment.
Let's go to Selhurst Park. Hamish Marshall, is this Crystal Palace getting back into this? Is it all square at Selhurst Park?
It is indeed. It's 2 goals apiece here. Palace are chasing a 6th win in 7 games. If they do it, they're going to have come from behind to do it. Wilfred Zaha's the man. He's looked far more dangerous since switching from the right to the left side. He was on target before the break, and a lovely solo finish now has made it 2 goals apiece here after Burnley took a first half lead through Chris McCann and Martin Patterson. It's Palace 2, Burnley 2.
Let's go to St Andrews. Steve Lee, how's it going there?
It's still Birmingham 0, Huddersfield 1. The Terriers leading from that Jermaine Beckford goal midway through the first half. Excellent cross from Vaughan, excellent finish from Beckford. Birmingham hit the post through Nathan Redmond, but in the second half they've gone for the Jack and the Beanstalk approach, bringing on 6'8" Nika Zigic to replace Fahy. We know which way this ball's going then. 0-1.
Thanks, Steve. Let's go to Ellen Road. Harry Gratian of Barnsley come out all guns blazing after feeling wronged at the end of the first half.
Well, not really. Leeds have dominated the start of the second half. Duff just had a tremendous shot from 25 yards, which was fairly routine for Anik, but Leeds looking a better side. Tong, though, has gone off with what looks like a dislocated shoulder. That might disrupt their momentum. Leeds lead by a goal to 0.
Let's go to Vicarage Road. Mark Webber, how have Watford started the second half?
Well, they're 1 man down, but they're not really showing it. Free kick a couple of minutes ago. Alman Abdi had a shot, and it had to be palmed away for a corner by Jason Steele. They're certainly looking like they could get the next goal. Middlesbrough just still settling in at the moment. 1-1.
Still goalless at Hillsborough. Andy Barwell?
Yes, both teams went into this with leaky defences. Neither side, though, possessing good enough striking options to take advantage of that this afternoon. It is 0-0. Stephen Quinn, though, slid across a dangerous ball. Jay Simpson couldn't get that final touch for Hull City. In the first half, Miguel Ayera's header was cleared off the line for Sheffield Wednesday, but it remains at Hillsborough 0-0.
Tranmere top of the table, of course, at the start of today. 1-0 up Alan Biggs at Meadow Lane. Looking good for it?
They do deserve it, Gabby. It seems that nothing can go wrong for the leaders, even when it does, like losing main striker Akpro to injury here in the first half. This on a day when they were already without their other leading marksman, Robinson, within 4 minutes of Akpro going off. And substitute Joe Thompson coming on. It was Thompson's header that put Tranmere in front. They do deserve it, but Notts County with Lee Hughes on from the bench, threatening a recovery.
And in League Two, two teams flying high at St James Park. Andy Gill has been watching Exeter Port Vale. Is it as good in the second half?
It is, and the team that's flying highest is Port Vale. Still Exeter 0, Port Vale 1, and the goal came in the first half from the top scorer, Tom Pope. It was a really good goal, as I said before. Down the right-hand side, Mario Williams, the winger. Decent cross, good header. Exeter really have to put some work in now to get back into this game, because Port Vale have come out and dominated the second half so far. Exeter 0, Port Vale 1.
Steve Clark looks like he's making changes at the Hawthorns. Andrew James, I hear that Mark Hughes has already made a change.
Yes, Mark Hughes has just taken off Sean Wright-Phillips, replaced him with Jamie Mackey. That's the second of the 3 allowed changes for QPR, of course, having put Traore on for the injured Clint Hill at half-time. Albion going to make a couple of changes of their own, a double substitution. They'll be sending on Marcus Rosenberg and Romelu Lukaku, 2 strikers, no doubt, trying to up their bid to complete and seal this win here. Albion have been the better side, but Rangers, since half-time, have looked more composed and are beginning to raise a couple of threats of their own. 2 of their players, by the way, Tarapt on the ball now, and the substitute Traore wearing gloves in the sunshine at the Hawthorns. West Brom lead 2-1.
Thank you. Things seem to have just kind of calmed down a bit in the second half. Not quite the frantic flying in of goals that we had in that first 45 minutes.
Yeah, they peaked too soon in the first half. They've not got much powder left, I think. But, yeah, I think we see a few more. Swansea's giving it a go, and so is Everton. So it'll be interesting if Everton can come back against Wigan, 2-1 down.
OK, let's go to the DW. Damien Johnson, I see the referee getting his book out there.
Yes, it's a yellow card for Jelavic. We've had 1 or 2 of those of late. It's been quite niggly, but Everton have started the second half really well, actually. They've gone close twice. That man Morales that Garth was talking about skied a really good chance after good work down the left-hand side from Pinar and Baines, and then worked an opening for himself, well saved by Al-Habsi. The Everton manager, David Moyes, sent his troops out early, one imagines with a bit of a flea in their ear. It's had the desired effect so far, but still it's Wigan who lead.
Garth, what is your point there about Chelsea?
They've had 2 penalty appeals turned down. Eden Hazard, again, left-hand side, breaks into the box, goes down very easy. The referee ignores the appeal. Doesn't book him, but waves the appeal away. To be fair, the second challenge was clumsy. It'd be interesting talking points tonight, match of the day. But again, I know last week the boys were talking about this. Are Chelsea players going down too easy in the box? Interesting debate.
What do you think, Diddy?
Well, I think the first one is a penalty. The fullback wants the keeper to come out to collect the ball, and he's waiting for the keeper. He looks back. Keeper is not coming, so he tries to shield the ball. He sticks his leg out. Hazard goes over. I think it's a penalty. Second one, I think he goes down a bit too easy, but you know, he's got to be careful not to get a reputation for.
That's the problem.
Because we've seen what happened to Suarez. He can't get a penalty now, even though he should have had 3 or 4 already this season. I hope the same doesn't happen to Eden Hazard, because he's a fantastic talent.
Great player.
OK, let's go to Stamford Bridge. Tony Husband saw it with his own eyes.
Yeah, they're interesting talking points, aren't they? And probably the biggest talking points we've had in this start of the second half. We've played just over an hour now, still 3-1 Chelsea lead. I wonder with the first penalty appeal, the ball perhaps was so far in front of Mata that the referee, I think, had almost turned away and wasn't even watching by the point that he went down. He felt the ball was just going behind anyway. The second one, though, as well, you could almost see it. It certainly appeared at first glance to be a little bit of a trip. In the meantime, the question here is, can Norwich actually have the belief to feel they can actually get back into this game? Because it's gone quiet. If they can just nick one, they could make it an interesting finale. But at the moment, still 3-1.
Thank you very much for that. What's going on then at the moment with Everton? Are they looking like they're going to get back into this, Garth?
I'm surprised.
There was just a chance for Wigan. Maloney's running ragged. He's having a fantastic game. He's a very influential player, and on his day is very hard to stop. He squares the ball for Conan. Jagielka makes a last-ditch tackle and clears it, and just knocks it half a yard past the post for a corner. Corner didn't come to anything. It's a very open game.
There's been a wonderful piece of professionalism. That's the way I can describe it. Howard's got the ball in his hand. They've just attacked Wigan, and Howard's about to throw it out to the full-back. Cordwell, in keenness to get back in his position up the field, barges Howard's over. But obviously, play stopped. The referee has a word with him, but it stops the play so he can get back. And Jagielka's furious, knows exactly what's happened. He's got away with it.
OK, lunchtime kickoff, of course, saw Manchester City record their first clean sheet of the season, a 3-0 win over Sunderland. Let's hear from the Sunderland manager, Martin O'Neill.
Martin, the second goal was probably the most important in a way because it came when you were just having maybe your best spell of the match.
Well, we were, yes, but eventually, over the piece, Manchester City deserved to win the game. They were, while it was at 1-0, you're absolutely right. We had a chance. We just after half-time, we tried to get more attacking threat in the game, but overall, they were much better than us, and they deserved to win the game.
As the opposition manager, it's not obviously easy to enjoy, but they did play some great stuff. Once they were at 2-0, they were electric.
They were, and they're very fine players. You know, they're champions of this country, and they're also playing big Champions League games, and they have very fine players at their disposal. So that was always the possibility that they would create havoc then if they got the second goal, and they got it with plenty of time to spare. Had another 10 minutes in the game, and like everything else, 1-0. When you probably should have been further clear in the game, you can still get very edgy. But that said, you know, they deserved to win the match, and they were better than us, and we've just got to take it, and wait now on international players coming back, and hopefully that we're all right and try and get ourselves prepared for Newcastle.
Stephen Fletcher's been amazing for them, but they had those draws and they finally got their win last week. Were they just today the inferior side? Was there any spark there that you felt from Sunderland?
Not much of a spark, but it's a game out of the way. If you go to City, I think they only had one draw last year at home. City, they won 18 games in the league.
Sunderland took 4 points off them last season, didn't they?
But no, there was nothing to be had today. It was one-way traffic most of the time, and City very deserved winners.
Pablo Hernandez has come on for Swansea, by the way. Of course, I'm saying of course as if you're supposed to know this, but his sister goes out. Well, his sister is Sergio Garcia's. No, Sergio Garcia's sister is his girlfriend.
You wish you hadn't started this, hadn't you?
Yes, I totally do. Obviously hoping to draw inspiration from that magnificent Ryder Cup performance last week.
They need something. Great shot, great save by the goal. The Reading goalkeeper, McCarthy's having a blinder. It's funny you should say that because I think it's Kissy, the Swansea player, has just hit the ball on the edge of the box, cut inside, hit it with his left foot. It's a great save by McCarthy. Twice Swansea have come close. They're trying to get back into the game.
A 2-0 deficit is not like starting the last day of singles 10-6 down, is it, really? So, you know, they can come back from this with Garcia's influence.
Yes, they can.
Yes. Those family relations there, it was all getting a bit dodgy, wasn't it, at one point? I had him married to his own sister. Let's go to the Den. Nick Godwin there for us. Give us an update.
All happening here. It's still 1-1, but Bolton Wanderers have missed a penalty. Chris Eagles fouled inside the box. A clumsy challenge by Jimmy Abdu. He stepped up himself to take it and launched it over the goal frame. It was a horrible, horrible miss. The Millwall fans absolutely loved it. They're not fans of Chris Eagles after a couple of moments earlier on in this second half. Millwall have just gone close up the other end. It's a tremendous game, this. Darius Henderson free kick has been turned wide by the Bolton goalkeeper, Adam Bogdan. But Bolton have had a real chance to come from behind and go in front. But Chris Eagles has missed his penalty, and it's still Millwall 1, Bolton 1.
McCarthy again.
It's a tremendous save. I think it's from Ashley, the Swansea centre-half and captain. Right on the line. It's a terrific save by McCarthy. That's 3 great saves on the bounce.
OK, let's move on, though. And actually, let's hear from Sam Allardyce, because West Ham take on Arsenal in today's late kick-off. And Garth, no less, was asking the questions for Football Focus a little earlier.
If we beat them, that would be everybody here at West Ham going on for a fantastic weekend. But you know, what you've got to bear in mind is that we could play our very best and still lose. If Arsenal hit top form, we won't be able to stop them even if we play our best. Let's hope it's a, you know, as thrilling game as everybody's making it out to be. From all said and done, from our point of view, I know it's only 6 games in, but we're above them in the league, which is great for the West Ham fans and great for the players. You know, let's try and, if I'm still above them on Saturday, I'll be absolutely delighted.
Another London derby, of course, Arsenal beaten by Chelsea last week, Garth. And for Sam and for West Ham, I would imagine, he probably told you off camera how delighted he was with this start. He couldn't have envisaged roaring at the table as they have done and in the way they have done.
That's exactly what I thought, and he was very cautious, surprising so. I saw him on Wednesday at QPR. Didn't half play well, you know, really played well. And West Ham, and Sam Allardyce, I should say, gets a lot of stick for playing a direct game. He didn't on Wednesday, and it seems that year on...
But he doesn't make any apologies for that, does he? You know, he says his results are what he...
mixes it up really nicely. But on Wednesday, they played a lot of good football and really were worthy of the 3 points. So, pleasantly surprised, but he's very cautious because it can change very quickly in this game. He knows that better than anybody else.
And the kind of Arsenal side that turn up there, and as we've seen earlier in the season... playing some good football and seem to have regrouped after Robin van Persie's left.
Well, Sam didn't think. He said, you know, if Arsenal play to their optimum, then West Ham will lose. And I don't know about you, Diddy, I've never, ever gone into a game, or I never went into a game thinking that I couldn't win a game, regardless how well the opposition played.
Yeah, he probably wants to take the pressure off his team. I'm sure he wants to get something out of it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's hear from Andy Gillies. You can see there that Port Vale have doubled their lead, and it's a double for Pope.
It is a double for Pope. Another really good goal as well. Very similar to the first one, actually, except this time the cross came in from the left-hand side from Vincent. Another good run down the wing, good cross, and an even better header from Pope this time because he headed it across the goalkeeper and into the side of the goal. It was no more than Vale have deserved for the start they made to this second half. Exeter, though, had just hit the post themselves, or the crossbar, I should say, with a thundering header from Tully a minute before, but then came Pope's goal, and they almost had a third one there, Vale, as the keeper Evans makes a good save. So looks like the team that are second are going to consolidate that position. Exeter 0, Port Vale 2.
Thank you, Andy. Another goal at Selhurst Park. Hamish Marshall, who is it?
Crystal Palace 3, Burnley 2. This match has been turned on its head. Palace have come from 2-0 down. Damien Delaney, the centre-half, has scored this time from inside the box after good work by substitute Jonathan Williams just a couple of minutes after coming on. Palace in front 3-2.
Barnet 2-0 up there against Southend. Could be their first win of the season. And what a turnaround for Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. But we're going to get an update from the Hawthorns. Andrew James. Is it all settled down a bit, or are QPR really getting into this?
Well, it's settled down, certainly, Gabby, and QPR are looking better than they were in the first half when West Brom had enough chances, frankly, to score 4 or 5 goals and have the game sewn up. It is still 2-1, and Mark Hughes has made his third and final change, sending on Junior Hoylett for Stefan and Bayern. One or two of the QPR fans just before that, when Sean Wright-Phillips had missed a good chance, were singing the name of Junior Hoylett. Just a few signs of unrest amongst the Rangers fans. Mark Hughes perhaps feeling that pressure just a little bit. It's still, though, West Brom 2, QPR 1.
Does he feel pressure, though? And how will it manifest itself to the players? You played under him, and Mark Hughes, that is.
Well, I'm sure it does. They've got 2 points if they lose today after 7 games. They're bottom of the table. They've not played any of the big teams so far. So, you know, you've got to start picking up points somewhere. And, you know, it'll be under pressure. The chairman said last week he's not. They'll stick with him. But as we know, in football, things change very quickly.
3 points. If they lose today, they'll have only got 3 points from the last 51 away from home, Garth.
But not all Mark Hughes' fault. I agree with Didi. Things change so quickly in football, and the pressure on chairman to get results in the Premier League is just relentless. So he will be the story next week if they lose today.
Just watching the play there at Chelsea. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that there?
I didn't.
No, it was almost another chance for Chelsea, but for some reason...
I think that I'll be interested to hear what Chris Hughton has said to his Norwich side at half-time, because they're definitely defending better than they were in the first half.
Hazard played the ball in, and he had 2 or 3 options, and he went for none of them. He went for the empty space at the far side of the box. But where should we go now? Let's go to Jason Mohammed at the Liberty Stadium. A goal.
Yes, Swansea City have been knocking on the door. Reading have defended very well, and at last they've managed to get past Alex McCarthy in the Reading goal, who's been outstanding. Ball zipped across the 6-yard box from the right-hand side, and it was Michu, who has been largely anonymous in this game, who got his head to it. This could be a grandstand 20 minutes. Swansea City 1, Reading 2.
It's been an onslaught for McCarthy, if not a witch hunt. Yeah, slightly cerebral. I thought you'd like that, Garth. But finally he succumbed. And Swansea have been, as Jason said, banging on that door.
It's been coming. It has. And to be fair, the ball bounces nicely in the box of the header, 6-yard. And it seems to me as though Reading are coming out. And they've gambled, and offside, it's not come.
And Brian McDermott will just think, no, I'm not having this repeat itself. Last week, of course, they were 2-1 up in the last few minutes of the game. Denver Bar handballed it in the net, 2-2.
Well, yeah, it remains to be seen how much it plays on the mind psychologically. But they're a bit unlucky there because Routledge crosses it, it takes a deflection, and it deceives everybody. They're coming out, and it bounces just in between the keeper and the back line, and Michu is at the back post, and he's got quite an easy finish from 5 yards out. It'll be an onslaught now because it's all been Swansea. They should have been levelled by now.
Well, Didi, it's a part of growing up in the Premier League, closing games out. That's what they've got to learn to do.
OK, let's go to the King Power. Remember, if Leicester win this one, they're top of the table tonight. Ivan, who's got the goal?
I think you can safely, pretty safely say that Leicester will go top because they're 2-0 up now. It came via a Richard Foster own goal, though under significant pressure from David Nugent. A cross by King to the far post. Nugent rose. They went in together. The defender got there first, but steered the ball straight past his own goalkeeper. A little unlucky, but Leicester won't mind that, and they're comfortably in control here, 2-0 up.
Such is the ridiculous fickle nature of football. There was talk that, Harry Redknapp was kind of on the horizon, going to take over there, even though Pearson's doing such a great job. Can't do very much more, can he? They'll be top of the table tonight. Do you think that will just snuff that one out?
I think it's a very, very dangerous game by the chairman of Leicester because the players are playing for the manager. You change it now, you upset that equilibrium, you can find yourself with problems.
OK, let's go to Bloomfield Road. Steph Bennett has goal news.
And Charlton now lead here by 2-0. Chris Solly, the scorer, slightly against the run of play. Good block from Blackpool, fell to Solly, and he drilled it from 20 yards like an arrow into the top corner. And it's Charlton who look like they could be on the way to a second win in the Championship. They're 2-0 up.
Let's go to Stamford Bridge. Tony Husband has another goal.
All over now, and Chelsea are going to be staying top of the Barclays Premier League tonight. It's 4-1. Branislav Ivanovic, the right back, up from the back and volleying in. Fine finish, which Ruddy couldn't keep out, away to his left-hand side. The cross had come in from the left. It had actually almost beaten everyone. Bounced back off a player, think it was Mata, and Ivanovic met it sweetly on the volley. 4-1.
And that's Ivanovic's fourth of the season. When your defender's getting 4 goals, you must be feeling pretty good about yourself.
You've got to watch this finish on Match of the Day. It's a striker's finish. It comes back in off Mata, and he just volleys it near post. I'd have been proud of that myself.
And Chelsea, generally, have you been impressed so far this season, what you've seen from them? And are they, for you, the real deal, genuine title contenders?
What impresses me most about Chelsea, I think they're good on the eye as well. They've got some exciting players now, and they can play teams off the park. When they didn't used to play teams off the park, they used to bully them. And they won 1-0, 2-0. They never conceded. I think they're a bit more open now.
Jose Mourinho legacy, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were physical. They once they went ahead, you wouldn't get anything because against them because they kept so many clean sheets. Now I think they're a bit more open. They're very good on the eye and very exciting to watch.
Good players that Di Matteo's brought in the season.
Absolutely. Fair, Chelsea fans have wanted that for a little while. I think they've been rather hurt, the fans, by the fact they've been regarded as being physical and bullying. And now AVB tried to do it there. And we didn't have patience with him, some of the changes.
Is there a little bit, do you think, of just kind of like, the shoulders going down, they win the Champions League and they feel a little bit of relief because, I was in the company of Frank Lampard a few weeks ago and he was saying for 7 years that's what they wanted more than anything. And now they've achieved that, they can play with a bit more expression.
It'll certainly help, but at the same time, I don't think they're the players to do what these players do now. In Mata, Hazard and Oscar, they've probably got three of the most creative players in the Premier League in one team. So regardless who's plays, there's always 1 or 2 on the pitch. And once these 2 out of 3 are on the pitch, they create chances.
Keeping them happy is the huge... I keep exalted company, Garth. What can I say?
Very good.
Start with you and then I work upwards. Let's go to St Andrews. Steve Lee, fill us in on what's going on there.
Yes, it's still Birmingham 0, Huddersfield 1, and Birmingham have lost Nikola Zizic, their giant Serbian striker, for a knee-high challenge on Callum Woods. No real doubt about the red card, and referee Andy Dorso sent him off. So a goal down, Zizic off. I guess that's why they call them the Blues. 0-1.
Oh, dear me. Steve, the puns are getting worse today. Let's go to the DW Stadium. Damien Johnson, time slowly running out for Everton if they're going to keep up this incredible start to the season. And, you know, they could have, obviously, Chelsea have secured the victory, but they could have been in second place tonight.
Yeah, they're just appealing for a penalty, actually, at the moment, because Jelavic went close but went down. I didn't see actually made connection with him, but the Everton bench were furious. Jelavic about to pull the trigger, claims he was impeded. Yeah, but the momentum very much with Everton. It's not quite desperation stations yet, but certainly their need of an equaliser is becoming increasingly urgent. They've gone close 2 or 3 times. At the other end, Kone has gone close for Wigan, and they're about to ring the changes now. Anichebe looks likely to come on. He's a player full of confidence, scoring goals this season. Can he get an equaliser and get something out of this game? Wigan still lead 2-1.
Thanks, Damien. Let's go to Selhurst Park. Hamish Marshall, the Football League show's on at 10 to midnight tonight. I bet this game features highly at the top of the show.
It's going to be worth watching, this one. The Palace fans are singing glad all over. That's because they're leading by 4 goals to 2. Glenn Murray, their top scorer, has made it 4-2. A neat finish at the near post after a low cross from Dean Moxey. Remember, in the first half, they were 2-0 down. They lead 4-2 now.
Jason Mohammed, Sergio Garcia is there in the stand. Oh, how close is a comeback, I was going to ask.
And Swansea City, just as you come to it, Gabby, are level. It's Wayne Routledge who's beaten Alex McCarthy. He was denied in the first half, made no mistake this time. I was just going to say to you, just before you came to me, Gabby, the Reading look really nervous, really edgy. Swansea City have found their zip and found their passing. He was played in, made no mistake. 2-2, and went on and kicked the television microphone in celebration. Why do they do that, footballers? 2-2.
Pathological hate of microphones, I don't think so.
There's a great shot, you'll see it tonight, where McCarthy, having the goal gone past him, just looked at his teammates and say, how many more times? And they did. They threatened and threatened and threatened. And obviously they're going to get a reputation if they're not careful, Reading, as they can't close out games. And that always psychologically plays on your mind and says to the opposition, remember the chance here.
Brian McDermott will be very frustrated. 2-0 up, of course, Reading. Now 2 apiece, and you wouldn't write off, would you, with a team as in the ascent as Swansea, that they could go for the jugular and get that winner. Let's go to Hillsborough. Andy Barwell, there's been a goal there. Tell us about it.
And it's gone to Hull City, a fantastic substitution made by the Hull manager, Steve Bruce. Aaron McLean had only been on the pitch for a matter of seconds. Twisted and turned his way through the Sheffield Wednesday penalty area, shot into the far corner of the goal. Chris Kirkland at full stretch couldn't get there. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Hull City 1.
OK, let's get an update from the King Power Stadium. Ivan Gaskell, Leicester still looking good, 2-0 up.
Into the last 10 minutes, they're still looking in control here. Very, very good. They were excellent in the first half. More pedestrian this second half, but they sort of know they've done the job. They're doing it well. They're 2-0 up.
Let's go to the Hawthorns. Andrew James, lots of action, lots of endeavour from West Brom.
Yes, West Brom are trying to get themselves not back into the game. Clearly they lead by 2 goals to 1, but certainly trying to dominate the game as they did in the first half, and they almost had a goal from substitute Lukaku just a few moments ago. The offside flag eventually going up to deny him, and his shot was off the post anyway. But really, West Brom have been looking to play for time a little bit here and there, but QPR, having made their 3 substitutions, don't really seem to have anything else in the tank to offer. They seem to have Taarabt and 10 others on the pitch today, Gabby, and at the moment that isn't good enough to beat West Brom. West Brom 2, QPR 1.
And if things stay as they are, West Brom are third tonight as we head to the international break. What a start to managerial life Steve Clarke is having, did he?
Unbelievable start. They started with the first game at Liverpool and won 3-0 and not looked back. And if they win this game, to go third after 7 or 8 games would be an unbelievable achievement. What they have got is firepower. Odin Wingi off, Shane Long off. Who comes on? Lukaku, who's a man mountain, very hard to play against. So they've got plenty of options going forward.
OK, let's go to Ewood Park. There's a goal. James Mason, tell us about it.
It's Blackburn 0, Wolves 1. Bakary Sakho, the goal scorer for Wolverhampton Wanderers. He's third of the season and a goal worthy of winning any game. A left-footed strike from the edge of the area, leaving Paul Robinson no chance. Blackburn 0, Wolves 1.
Well, this week, Gianfranco Zola said that it wasn't in his DNA to go for 1-0 wins. They're 2-1 down, Mark Webber at the
They are indeed, and it's the super sub Scott McDonald who found his way through for Middlesbrough. They had come back into the game. A precision shot low to the left through a crowded box, more crowded than the Watford Junction waiting room at peak time. Watford 1, Middlesbrough 2.
They'd won their last 2 before today, and to really get going on a roll and really start pushing up towards those playoff places, you'd take a 1-0 win, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, you'd take a 1-0 win. Take anything at all. We talked about Gianfranco Zola, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I think the jury's still out on him as a manager, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought when he was at West Ham, he was unlucky to go, but he did. And when you look what's happening now under Sam Allardyce, there's a big difference. He's starting to sort of generate his career at Watford, and I wish him all the very best. But he's still got a bit to do for me.
Did he? Any comment to make on Gianfranco Zola?
Well, they brought so many players. They've got a club they very closely liaise in Italy. I think they brought a lot of players in from Italy, and I'm not sure whether this is a way to get out the Championship. It's a very tough league. You need players who know the league, and I'm not sure this is whether this is the right way to go about it and get out the league.
OK. Let's get an update from the DW Stadium. Damien Johnson, have some changes been made? Are Everton going for this now?
Yeah, they are. They're getting increasingly frustrated. A bit of sloppiness creeping into their play as well as they appeal for another penalty. Jelavic down in the area, not interested, the referee Kevin Friend. Yeah, they're getting a little bit desperate. They've thrown on the big guns. They don't come much bigger in stature than Victor Anichebe. He's full of confidence at the moment, scoring goals. They're desperate for an equaliser at least here, Everton, but their play doesn't look like producing one just at this moment. 2-1 Wigan.
Oh, what? Well, let's get to Stamford Bridge, and Tony Husband could tell you. I won't even try and explain it.
Well, the game goes quiet in periods, and then suddenly Chelsea just spurt into action. And what a player Juan Mata is to watch. He's stretching Norwich all over the place. He's done it again here and chipped one into the penalty area, which has just been headed wide over the top by a Norwich defender. But really, Chelsea are doing this at a canter. 4.5 minutes to go. Their 7th game in 21 days. But they look very, very polished here at home. And none of those off-field problems being seen on it. This is a real stroll to victory.
Yeah, it's looking very easy for Chelsea, but what about West Brom QPR? There's a goal at the Hawthorns. Is it good news for Mark Hughes, Andrew James?
Gabby, it isn't. It's good news for West Bromwich Albion and football lovers in general, because talking about strolling, well, that's exactly what West Bromwich Albion have just done en masse through the QPR midfield and defence. Malumbu was the goal scorer, but I tell you, if Brazil had scored this goal, they'd be talking about it for years. It was a marvellous move, around 10 passes, 5 or 6 players involved, some very clever and intelligent thinking along the way, and Malumbu was on hand to supply the finish, to supply the 3rd goal, to supply Albion with their best start to a top-flight campaign for almost 100 years, and to condemn Mark Hughes to yet another defeat and another week of speculation about his future. West Brom 3, QPR 1.
Charlie Austin, who else has scored for Burnley? Is it a late comeback, Hamish Marshall?
Yeah, could we have a twist in the tail here? It's now 4-3. Burnley back into it, as you say. Charlie Austin, his 15th goal of the season. He was given space in the Palace box. You mustn't do that. He'll punish you with 8 minutes left plus stoppage time to play. Palace 4, Burnley 3.
Charlie Austin's 15th goal of the season, I do believe. He's been on fire for them, but has he got enough to deliver maybe a point for them today? It's all go, isn't it, at Selhurst Park? And Crystal Palace will be up to 3rd with a win today. And they really are the form team in the Championship. There is a penalty. And it's let's go to the DW. Damien Johnson there for us. Who's it gone to?
It's gone to Everton with 5 minutes, or less than 5 minutes remaining here. This is a penalty. Wigan still lead by 2-1. They've been knocking on the door. The man who went down, I think, was Morales. Not got a benefit of a monitor to get a replay here. But it is a penalty to Everton, and it will be taken by a Wigan old boy. Leighton Baines has stepped up. Left-footed, he faces Al-Habsi. I think you're probably going to stay with me to see the outcome of this, are you? Wigan 2, Everton 1. Everton's play's become increasingly desperate in the last few minutes. They've had a couple of penalty appeals. Finally, they get one awarded by the referee, Kevin Friend. And it's to be Leighton Baines,
Popular figure here in his days at the DW Stadium. Left-footed against Al-Habsi, who's produced a couple of decent saves himself. It's at the ground populated by the Everton fans. Up steps Baines, high into the top left-hand corner of Ali Al-Habsi's goal. And Everton are level, 2-2.
The in-law as well.
Say that again, did he?
The in-law nearly scored. Sergio's in-law nearly scored. He should have had a penalty. He hits it on the volley, hits a defender on the arm, didn't give the penalty. It drops down and he hits it just a yard over the bar from 6 yards.
This is Swansea. Swansea could
So
have...
Pablo Hernandez could have had a 30-foot putt on the 17th to make it 3-2.
They ended up in the bunker.
I tell you, it's a comeback of almost Ryder Cup proportions for Swansea today. It's 2 apiece at the moment. But let's talk a little bit about Leighton Baines. He's put them right back in it there.
Leighton Baines is having a very, very good season. And if, you know, depending on how the FA and Rory Hodgson assesses Ashley Cole's tweets, Leighton Baines could find himself, you know, occupying that left-back spot. He's playing very, very well. The penalty is a great penalty. He really puts it in the roof of the net. It's a difficult skill.
Has your heart in your mouth a little bit, doesn't it, when it's going, you know, the trajectory is...
Well, I said to Didi, he doesn't miss many Leighton Baines. He's become... Free kicks, set plays, he's outstanding. And he's looking more and more like an international every time I see him.
He seemed to fit in really well into that squad as well out there at the
good.
Euros. You
Top
know,
class.
he seemed to be a real central, you know, figure that seemed to unite people.
I think he fits into any squad. I think he would walk into any team in England. I think this is how good he is. He's got a left foot like a laser, as Garth just said. He pings a penalty right in the top corner. His free kicks, he scores 6, 7, 8 goals every year because he's got such a good left foot and a tremendous player. So, you know...
If anything was to happen to Ashley Cole, England wouldn't need to cry about it.
As long as he was fit.
As long as he was fit.
OK, let's get an update from Andrew James at the Hawthorns. West Brom were cruising the last time we spoke. QPR, what are they niggled now? Are they getting a little bit frustrated?
Yeah, Jamie Mackey's just had a talking to for a bad challenge on Jakob. He's having to leave the field, having had treatment. And Mackey saw a yellow card from that. A player, of course, who had a bad injury himself not all that long ago. But QPR do look riled. They haven't looked in complete harmony throughout the match, to be honest, Gabby. At the start of the game, 6 photographers around the dugout taking pictures of Mark Hughes at the start of the game. There'll be a lot more on him through the rest of the week, I'm sure, if he survives that. It's at West Brom 3, QPR 1, still playing here.
And Swansea are throwing absolutely everything at it, aren't they?
Oh, it's not over by a long chalk.
Michael Laudrup will be delighted, though, at the way that they're absolutely going for it, aren't they? And there is a real desire and zest there to get themselves back on track.
All of that and more, Gabby, you're absolutely right. All credit to them, because at 2-0 down, at one stage, it looked like the game was over.
Wigan have just had a great chance as well. Shall we hear from Damien Johnson at the DW? Tell us all about that.
It was a great chance for Sean Maloney, that man who has been had his praises sung by Didi Hamann. He twisted and turned his markers, eventually got a shot in. It was deflected just inches over the bar. Agony for the home fans. It remains 2-2.
Where else are you? Oh, another chance for... No, Chelsea. Was that Torres there over the bar? Did you see that?
No, it was Romeo who came on just beforehand, shot from 20 yards, but can't keep it down and... Oh, it's way over the bar.
And of course, as the final minutes dying out of the DW Stadium, we've got Everton going for the win. We've got Swansea going for it's 2 apiece there as well at the Liberty.
Game.
Jason Mohammed, they're throwing everything at it.
Yeah, they are throwing everything at it. Kim Soo-young and Pablo Hernandez have both had chances, and Jem Karachan has gone at the other end, a looping header. Ashley Williams, the newly appointed Wales captain, clearing it off the line. Reading almost grabbing a late winner. We have a corner. You may come back to me, Gabby.
I hope so, for some reason, Jason. Let's go to Stamford Bridge. It's full time there. Tony Husband.
Yes, all over for one. Cole received vocal support from the Bridge. The only hashtag necessary tonight. Top of the league.
Well, there's a goal at the Hawthorns. Andrew James.
It's Granero for QPR, so I wonder whether we've got a late storming finish here. The man they signed from La Liga has just pulled the trigger from the edge of the box and got a goal back for QPR. It's West Brom 3, QPR 2.
Before today, of course, they hadn't conceded West Brom at home, so they've conceded 2 today. Let's go to the Den. Nick Godwin, the story there, the goal.
A late goal here for Millwall. We've got 5 minutes of stoppage time to go, but Darius Henderson has got his second. A low drive from the edge of the box with his left foot. Bolton missed a penalty earlier in this half, and they're now trailing again. We're in stoppage time. Millwall 2, Bolton 1.
That goal there, what kind of lifeline do you think that gives them to go for it and get the draw there at the Hawthorns? Is it on the cards? Did he, Garth?
It's massive. It's a massive goal for QPR. It gives them a chance. I said at the beginning of the programme that QPR must get something here if they're going to keep the pressure off their manager and attention on football and getting on with the job in hand. But the moment, I mean, Mark Hughes looks very, very concerned on the sidelines there. And West Brom are on the ascendancy. West Brom are looking to try and get that elusive fourth goal.
And Swansea are looking for that third goal there, which would secure them the win. And they're just battering McCarthy and the Reading goal, aren't they, Diddy?
Yeah, they bombarded the Reading goal for the second half. There was half a chance for Reading just a couple of minutes ago, which they missed. But, it's all Swansea. They're running out of time to nick a third one.
More changes being made at the DW. Damien Johnson.
Yeah, last throw of the dice from both sides. We're playing injury time. 5 minutes of that has been given by the fourth official. It's been a niggly game all afternoon. A flurry of yellow cards from the referee, Kevin Friend. Everton fighting back in this second half after trailing at half-time 2-1. The tackles are flying in now. And the home side not particularly happy with that as Everton get the chance to mount another attack with a free kick. The clock is ticking, 2-2.
There's a corner at the Hawthorns. Andrew James, it's QPR's.
Granero, who got that goal just a few minutes ago to make it 3-2, is the man with the corner, with his right foot in front of the 1,000 or so travelling Rangers fans at that end. It's Hoylett who drives it towards goal. Still a strike on here for Basingwa, and he's put it over the bar. So the final whistle goes. It's blown by Mike Jones, and Gabby, it means that West Brom have won the match. They got their 2 first-half goals from James Morrison and Zoltan Gira. They should perhaps have scored 4 by half-time. They didn't, and Adel Darap pulled one back to make it 2-1 at half-time to keep West Brom, to keep QPR in the game. West Brom, though, right at the end of that second half, getting their third goal from Malumba, and what a great goal that was. And although Granero pulled that late one back just a few moments ago for 3-2, it's a...
Yeah, Andrew James said it, and you probably agree that the scoreline suggests a much closer game. In the first half, they were nowhere near them, were they?
No.
And West Brom were cruising.
No, absolutely were. And I'm a little bit surprised. I think Steve Clarke will be rather concerned how easy he lets QPR get back into the game. Because at 3-1, I think there was no way back, and they've allowed them. And in the end, there was a wonderful chance for QPR to level it. Interesting enough, as Tarapta came off the pitch, Mark Hughes was patting him on the back. 2 goals in 2 games. And he looks like the only person in the QPR side where you're certainly going to get a goal from.
Weave a bit of magic, open them up.
Yeah, open them up, absolutely.
OK, well, the final whistle has gone at the Liberty, so there wasn't a Sergio Garcia-inspired comeback for Swansea, but they got the point, Jason Mohammed, and at various points that didn't look likely.
No, absolutely, Gabby, and I think it's a tale of 2 goalkeepers. At one end, Michel Vorm gifted Reading their first goal. Alex McCarthy made 6 excellent saves. Eventually, he was beaten by Michu and Wayne Routledge. Swansea City missed too many chances today. By half-time, found themselves 2-0 down, but cue a spirited second half fight back. Reading looked nervous and edgy for me in the final 20 minutes. Swansea City took full advantage. Reading still searching for their first Premier League win of the season, and given they were 2-0 up with 19 minutes to go, they blew it. Swansea City 2, Reading 2.
Well, will Wigan feel they blew it today, Damien Johnson? It's all over there at the DW Stadium.
Yeah, quite possibly. It was an absorbing contest with terrific goals and controversy in equal measure, but it was just about the right result, I think, in the end. Wigan twice led, but twice Everton pegged them back. Haruna Kone headed in the excellent Sean Maloney's cross to put the home side in front. Jelavic equalised with a far post header. Franco Di Santo restored the Wigan lead. Then that controversy. Marouane Fellaini only given a yellow card for a flailing arm that caught Figueroa. Everton came out early for the second half, perhaps a statement of intent from their manager David Moyes. Morales twice went close. Everton were denied a couple of penalties before Morales finally won one, and Leighton Baines, a former Wigan player of course, dispatched with confidence from the spot. As I say, in the end, 2-2, about fair. Good game.
You may notice there, Stirling have beaten Rangers 1-0. Of course, we don't always do third division Scottish football, but you'll see why that's quite an interesting result. Let's go to the King Power Stadium. Ivan Gaskell, a great day for Leicester City.
Yes, in a week in which persistent suggestions that Leicester City want Harry Redknapp to take over as manager resurfaced. Well, Leicester's rise to the top of the Championship timed with precision. 6 wins in 7 for Nigel Pearson's side. This one never in doubt, founded on a vibrant first-half display, cemented by a more industrious second. David Nugent clinically struck Leicester in front, then pressed Foster to strike a header past his own goalkeeper to make it certain. 2-0 Leicester.
And to Bloomfield Road, Seth Bennett, tell us the story there.
Blackpool 0, Charlton 2, and goals from 2 defenders for Charlton in the second half. Enough to propel Chris Powell's side to their second championship win of the season. The first, a header from Leon Court that ballooned into the top corner. The second, a nice drive from Chris Solly that really did thump into the back of the net. Missed chances, that was the problem for Blackpool throughout the whole of the afternoon. But Charlton walk away with that second championship win of the season. Blackpool 0, Charlton 2.
A little stutter for Blackpool as well. Let's go to Pride Park. It's all over there. Peter Slater.
Very tight, hard-fought game this. Few chances till things opened up in the final quarter of an hour. Brighton's Dean Hamann denied by a fine save from Adam Legzins, then heading the rebound wide. Derby responded almost immediately. Kushak, fine saves from Brayford, then Bryson. Brighton also saw a shot deflected onto the bar. Their ship's been steadied. Derby unbeaten in 5 in the game. A reflection of a very competitive division.
And to Ewood Park, James Mason, all over there.
Yeah, Blackburn 0, Wolves 1. Despite a game of few clear-cut chances, Wolves displayed their desire to win from the off, stifling Blackburn in front of their biggest crowd of the season since Steve Keane's departure last week. The game was heading for a goalless draw deep into the second half before Wolves' Bakary Sakho found space on the edge of the box to fire Stal Solbakken side into their 5th win in their last 6. It finished Blackburn Rovers 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1.
Interesting times ahead at Ewood Park, no doubt. Let's go to St Andrews. Steve Lee, the story there, please.
It finished Birmingham 0, Huddersfield 1 after 2 home defeats. Huddersfield well and truly rediscovered their mojo at St Andrews. Jermaine Beckford got the only goal, a class finish from Vaughan's cross, and Simon Grayson's side might have had more goals. Zigic red-carded for Birmingham after a knee-high challenge on Callum Woods. 3 defeats in 4 for Blues, worrying times for Lee Clark. Birmingham 0, Huddersfield 1.
And the team who are top of the form table in the Championship produced that form today. What a match at Selhurst Park. Hamish Marshall.
Yeah, Palace 4, Burnley 3. That's 6 wins and 7 for Palace, and are forging a welcome reputation for coming from behind. They were 2-0 down here, but the inspirational Wilfred Zaha got them on terms. Damien Delaney and Glenn Murray put enough daylight between the teams to withstand a late Burnley onslaught, including Charlie Austin's 15th of the season. Palace move among the Championship pace setters in front of the biggest crowd of the season.
Let's go to Elland Road. Harry Gratian, a big win for Leeds there today.
Yes, if Leeds continue to win like this, Gabby, they will be there at the end of the season. Outplayed in the first half. One controversial penalty was good enough. Becchio, who else scored. Barnsley ruined 5 gilt-edged chances squandered, but Leeds take the 3 points despite a performance that even the most partisan fan would say was lacklustre.
So we've had all the action. Here are the full classified results now with Mike West.
Starting with the Barclays Premier League. Chelsea 4, Norwich City 1. Manchester City 3, Sunderland 0. Swansea City 2, Reading 2. West Bromwich Albion 3, Queen's Park Rangers 2. The game between West Ham United and Arsenal is an evening kick-off at 5:30. Wigan Athletic 2, Everton 2. On to the Empire Championship. Birmingham City 0, Huddersfield Town 1. Blackburn Rovers 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Blackpool 0, Charlton Athletic 2. Crystal Palace 4, Burnley 3. Derby County 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. Ipswich Town against Cardiff City, an evening kick-off at 5:20. Leeds United 1, Barnsley 0. Leicester City 2, Bristol City 0. Millwall 2, Bolton Wanderers 1. Peterborough United 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Hull City 1. And Watford 1, Middlesbrough 2. In the Empire League 1, Brentford 2, Crawley Town 1 is a latest score. Bury 0, Swindon Town 1. Coventry City 1, AFC Bournemouth 0. Crewe Alexandra 2, Hartlepool United 1. Doncaster Rovers 1, Shrewsbury Town 0. Leyton Orient 0, Sheffield United 1. Milton Keynes Dons 2, Portsmouth 2. Notts County 0, Tranmere Rovers 1. Oldham Athletic 3, Preston North End 1. Stevenage 1, Scunthorpe United 0. Walsall 1, Carlisle United 2. And Yeovil Town 3, Colchester United 1. In the Empire League 2, Accrington Stanley 2, Rochdale 3. Aldershot Town 0, Chesterfield 1. Bristol Rovers 3, Northampton Town 1. Cheltenham Town 2, Fleetwood Town 2. Dagenham and Redbridge 4, Bradford City 3. Exeter City 0, Port Vale 2. Morecambe 0, Burton Albion 0. Oxford United 0, Gillingham 0. Plymouth Argyle 1, AFC Wimbledon 2. Southend United 2, Barnet 2. Wycombe Wanderers 2, Torquay United 1. And York City 0, Rotherham United 0. The Blue Square Bet Premier, AFC Telford United 1, Woking 0. Braintree Town 2, Barrow 3. Cambridge United 4, Mansfield Town 1. Ebbsfleet United 1, Kidderminster 1. Grimsby Town 0, Dartford 2. Hereford United 1, Stockport County 2. Hyde 1, Gateshead 1. Lincoln City 1, Luton Town 2. Macclesfield Town 1, Alfreton Town 2. Southport 3, Nuneaton Town 1. Tamworth 1, Newport County 2. And Wrexham 2, Forest Green Rovers 1. Into Scotland and the Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Hibernian 3, Dundee 0. Kilmarnock 1, Aberdeen 3. The match between Motherwell and Dundee United postponed because of a power failure. St Johnstone 2, St Mirren 1. The Irn-Bru Scottish Division 1, Airdrie United 0, Hamilton Academical 4. Falkirk 2, Dunfermline 2. Greenock Morton 3, Partick Thistle 1. Livingston 1, Cowdenbeath 1. And Wraith Rovers 2, Dumbarton 2. The Scottish Division 2, Arbroath 3, Brechin City 1. Ayr United 2, Albion Rovers 1. Forfar Athletic 2, Alloa Athletic 3. Stenhousemuir 3, East Fife 0. And Stranraer 0, Queen of the South 2. The Scottish Division 3, Montrose 3, East Stirlingshire 1. Peterhead 1, Berwick Rangers 0. And Stirling Albion 1, Rangers 0. The Corbett Sports Welsh Premier, Airbus UK Broughton 1, Llanelli 1. Gap Connors Quay 0, the New Saints 1 is a latest score. And Newtown 1, Prestatyn Town 4. Finally, the Danske Bank Irish Premiership, Crusaders 2, Glentoran 0. Donegal Celtic 1, Dungannon Swifts 1. Glenavon 1, Coleraine 1. Linfield 1, Ballina-Mallard 3. Lisbon Distillery 1, Cliftonville 2. And finally, Portadown 2, Ballymena United 2.
And just to bring you up to speed with that late kick-off that Mike mentioned, I do believe it was Brentford. And Brentford up against Crawley, and the latest score is 2-1 to Brentford. You'll have to take my word for it. OK, let's have a little look at the table, starting with the Premier League and Chelsea retaining top spot thanks to their thrashing of Norwich. Manchester City leapfrog both Everton and rivals United, although Sir Alex Ferguson's men are not in action until tomorrow. West Brom's brilliant start to the season goes on. They sit in a Champions League spot right now. At the bottom, QPR and Norwich's wretched starts also go on. They and Reading remain the only sides in the top flight without a win. to the Championship. Leicester top the table at this level for the first time since 2003. However, Cardiff can reclaim leadership of the division by beating Ipswich in the evening kick-off. Wolves and Crystal Palace both move up 3 places. At the bottom, no change in the bottom 2, although Ipswich have yet to play, as I just mentioned, and Sheffield Wednesday and Birmingham slip below Millwall, who beat Bolton. To League One, Tranmere's dream start to the season continues. Their excellent win at Notts County maintains their 4-point lead over Stevenage. Wins for Sheffield United and Swindon see them move to 3rd and 4th respectively. At the bottom, Bury's defeat to Swindon leaves them rooted to the foot of the table. Coventry's crucial win over Bournemouth lifts them above the Cherries and out of the relegation zone. And in League Two, Gillingham dropped points for only the 3rd time this season. Their lead's been cut by Port Vale, who won. There's no positional change amongst the top 4, while Rochdale move up 4 places to 5th. At the bottom, Barnet await their first victory of the season. They're now 5 points adrift as the other sides in the bottom 4 all kick off and all won. That's bad news for Aldershot. They slip 3 places to 23rd. To the blue square, Newport County moved to the top of the table thanks to their win over Tamworth. Forest Green dropped to 2nd after defeat to Wrexham, who moved to within a point of Rovers. At the bottom, Hyde stay rooted to the bottom of the league, but Barrow are out of the relegation places thanks to a win away at Braintree. And the SPL, Hibs are the new leaders, a point clear of Celtic, who host Hearts tomorrow. Aberdeen and St Johnstone also only a point off the top. At the other end, there's little to crow about in Dundee, with the city's 2 clubs propping up the table at the moment. And Match of the Day should be a good one tonight. Alan Shearer and Martin Keown will join Gary for that, 10:30 on BBC One and BBC One HD, repeated, of course, tomorrow morning at 7:35. Colin Murray has Reading striker, Jason Roberts joining Loro for Match of the Day 2, 10:25 on BBC One tomorrow. It's a big one tomorrow, some great games. Newcastle Man United, for one, sticks out, doesn't it? Always a belter. OK, sadly, it's slightly negative managerial situations to talk about. We have to address them, though, because Mark Hughes got the vote of confidence, or the tweet of confidence, from Tony Fernandes this week. But that 3-2 defeat and the style of the defeat did he as well. Do you think he can keep absorbing this pressure? Can he turn it round?
Given time, he may be, but I'm not sure whether he does get the time. As you just said, the way they lost the game today, I think it was the most disappointing thing. They got a lifeline in the first half with a Tarap goal, a great piece of skill. They concede the 3rd goal, then they get another lifeline in the last 5 minutes. It was all too late then, but he never really had any, you never really thought they're going to come back into the game. West Brom was very comfortable, and in the end ran out really deserved winners. And this is another defeat against a team, where you think they can get something out of it. Lost to West Ham on Monday. So,
Chris Hughton, the other one that you think, well, what can he do to turn things around? Concede 5 last week, 4 today. Defence at times just looked slightly hapless, really, didn't it?
So what he mustn't do is panic. His second half performance was much better than his first. And if he sticks at it, he must pick up points at home. That's their lifeline at Carrow Road.
OK, guys, thank you very much for your company so far. Our work goes on, of course, on the red button, and a little bit later on this evening, of course, there's 6:06 for you to join in as well. Join us on the red button if you can. If you can't, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.